Okay, and the timing starts now, I
Now.
guess. Okay, so good evening, everyone. I'll try and get everything into a 5-minute presentation. So my name is Liz Holloway. I'm a Sustainable Travel Officer for Devon County Council, and it's great to be able to present at the Exeter City Futures event. So thank you for inviting me. Devon County Council has quite a long history of encouraging cycling, walking and cycling to school. I've been involved in it for about 10 years. I'm going to talk you through a number of key stages I think that's worth sharing with you. So first of all, our emerging Exeter Transport Strategy is quite ambitious. It has 3 strands. Greater connectivity, greater places for people, and greater innovation. And school travel really sits under greater places for people. There's an ambitious target. By 2030, we hope to encourage 50% of Exeter's population to walk and cycle to workplaces and schools. So how we hope to achieve this is in a number of ways. First of all, cycle route infrastructure is important. There are a number of key strategic cycle routes across Exeter that have been in the planning for some years. They really took momentum in 2016 when we did a public consultation on these routes, and it was then decided that the 3 key routes, E4, E3 and E9, all connecting the east of Exeter, where a lot of growth is happening, to the city centre and taking along through residential areas and also areas of employment. So the first of these cycle routes that we've been able to secure funding for is the E4 cycle route. And this cycle route is unique in that it segregates, it's a Dutch style sort of cycle route, as they call it, or a 2-way cycle route, which segregates pedestrians from cyclists and cyclists from traffic, from motorized traffic as well. You could see on the images that the one on the right is Cumberland Way, which was completed in 2017. The latest section connecting Pinhole Road to Exhibition Way was completed in July this year. And the last piece of the puzzle for the first 2 miles of this, well, not the last piece, but the next section to be completed is the cycle bridge across Summer Lane, which will be hopefully lifted into place this coming weekend, weather permitting. It had to be postponed because last weekend Storm Alex put a spanner in the works on that one. The next section on E4 is Union Road to be tackled. Designs have been prepared, or designs are being prepared, and that will next go to a public consultation. In terms of the next route, I kind of pulled together a couple of images across this screen for the E3 route. The E3 route is slightly different in nature. It connects residential areas, much more sort of densely urban areas, so it doesn't qualify for, or it's not possible to create segregated cycling facilities, so we have to work with other measures. Along Hollow Lane near the Ellen Tinkham School, that Hollow Lane was closed to through traffic and allowing walking and cycling through there. A crossing across Hill Barton Road was put in again in July this year. We've trialed a number of pop-up cycling infrastructure under during lockdown, which was something that the government encouraged us to do to encourage more walking and cycling. And we've also implemented, together with Sustrans, a school street, an innovative sort of project, which is the Dragon design outside, a psychological traffic calming design outside St. Michael's School. And we're trialing a number of school streets. Charlotte will tell us more, Charlotte from Sustrans will tell us more about that. In terms of E9, again, 4 sort of pop-up temporary measures are being trialed or have been put in place in the form of either road closures for through traffic, but allowing walking and cycling, one-way systems, and the creation of bus gates. So in terms of infrastructure measures, I've just talked about. I'd like to also mention some of the non-infrastructure measures, the softer measures as we call them, that we are delivering. Bikeability is a key aspect. We train every year 7,000 children to bikeability level 1, 2 and 3. Level 1 and 2 is primary school cycle training. Level 3 is for the secondary school children, and it's more sort of preparing children for cycling on sort of busier roads, I guess, or also it's the closest step to becoming a commuter cyclist. We also have adult cycle training available. Last year we trained 165 adults. It's not necessarily cycle training, it's cycle confidence sessions or commuter sort of routes, etc. Bikeability, so that's enough about bikeability. Moving on to literature, we've produced cycle maps, cycle-friendly maps showing the different types of routes available to people in Exeter. We work closely with a number of businesses to encourage active travel for people to workplaces, and also we now deliver cycle training within some of these workplaces, including the RD&E and Exeter City Council. I can see the hand, Kerry. Co-bikes, walking buses, and we also support the school crossing patrols in certain places. I'm quickly moving on to the next slide. So in terms of working with schools and communities, the school travel plan really is key to pulling all the work together within schools. The school travel plan outlines or sort of highlights how people currently travel to school. It's a data sort of collection document, but also how people would like to, or how children would like to travel to school. And then within that, measures are sort of put together that will sort of make this happen. And Sustrans, we've got 3 Sustrans officers working with us to deliver some of these effective school travel plans, and Charlotte will tell us more about it. We've also recently started working more closely with Exeter City Council through the local sport delivery pilot. We share projects, we talk about projects and try and see where we can work together on certain things, or maybe make improvements or do things slightly differently. So Paul will be doing a presentation on that. Recently, last week, we did actually a snapshot cycle count at the secondary schools. You remember the weather was quite poor, but it's quite interesting to see the figures, and this is just a snapshot. It's just a one-day sort of cycle count. It also includes scooters. National average 2016 was that for secondary schools, 3% of children cycle to school, and you can see here that Exeter is having some really encouraging figures, and that is during the rain. However, there is room for improvement, and I'm going to ask Charlotte to share with us some detail on how to sort of what's involved in delivering a school travel plan. Thank you.
Brilliant, thank you. Charlotte.
Trying to do this as seamlessly as possible.
I will set 5 minutes and go.
Great. Okay, so my name's Charlotte and I work as an active travel officer for Sustrans, and work alongside 2 other colleagues, Maurice Elphick, who's also on this call I think, and Helen Morse, and they both Maurice works up in Barnstable and Bideford and also in Exeter, and Helen is more based in Newton Abbot. So how Sustrans works with school community. So we try to embed ourselves into a school community, varying schools we work with, primary or secondary, and it depends, we do tailor it to the school as of what suits them best, but we aim to get a school champion. So one of my school champions is actually on this call, Ali Sinden at St Peter's, and we just start by thinking what the school needs in order to improve active travel. So when we run events, we might run various engagement events, start off the year with some hands-up surveys which go out to students in order to get an idea of their travel habits. When we do run events within the school year, we might send out parent letters, run assemblies to mostly primary schools as well, and also through social media. So we've got a Facebook page and Twitter as well. So what sessions does Sustrans run? We start off with practical sessions. So you can see from the photos in the slide on the right, we've got some Learn to Rise sessions, which is taking place at Trinity Primary in Exeter. And on the left, there's a lead ride, which I took 17 children from Whipton Barton School down to the double locks from their school, which was absolutely brilliant. So it was sort of year 5 students. We also run things like Dr. Bike, which is safety checks for students, and this is works really well at secondary schools as well as primary, and bike clubs, so after school bike clubs. So not only is it practical things that we run, but we also run virtual challenges or other challenges on which have a platform. So we've got the Big Pedal, which tends to work in the springtime, and Leg It to Lapland, which is our winter challenge. And it's always a bit harder getting children to actively travel during the winter months, so it's quite good to have something going on at that time. And as you can see, during those couple of weeks, we run exciting events. So Bling Your Bike is one of the pictures in the middle. So we've got, you can decorate your bike and scooter, and they can gain some prizes for that. This is mostly at primary schools, and also bike breakfasts. So there are a few of the occupational challenges. We also work with the local community for looking at their residential streets. So we've had projects in Newton Abbot where we work with schools such as Decoy and St Joseph's, where we've run workshops with them to think about how they'd like to see their street, and the opportunity for a bit of a road closure in the afternoon, and they get to think about how they'd like to decorate their street. We've used chalk as an option, and planters. We've also got the school Road Safety Trust project. It's a pilot project that we're running, which is on the E3 route, as Liz was talking about. So this is the dragon that's been designed by the school, with the school, and also some urban designers from Bristol. We ran there was an opportunity in November to trial it on the road, and we've gone out to consultation with various residents, and now we've got the dragon design on the road. So a road safety traffic calming measure as well. So 6 months' time, we're going to look at how traffic speeds have changed and behaviour on the street has changed as well. Last thing as well, School Streets is a new project that's just started in Devon, working in partnership with Devon County at Bradley Barton, Whipton Barton, and Red Hills schools in Devon. Bradley Barton is the first school that's actually started School Streets. There's been positive feedback already. It's school road closure at the beginning and the end of the school day to prevent traffic outside the school, and also just allow for more social distancing as part of the emergency pop-up measures. So overall, we equip people with practical skills, we create challenges for motivation, and trial various infrastructure. I've got an ask here as well, which is a combination of both Devon County and Sustrans. So what can you do to help us achieve our target of 50% of people walking or cycling to schools or workplaces? Thank you for listening. Oh, you're on mute, Kerry.
Thank you. Thanks. You actually hit it, Charlotte. It's great. 5 minutes. Thank you, both of you. Thanks, Liz. Thanks, Charlotte. There are a couple of questions. I'm just going to pick out. Ian, I can see because you've just put that in. Has a question for Charlotte. Are the children or the parents losing commitment when the weather gets tough?
When the weather gets tough. So it does vary. You're quite right. I mean, with anyone, I'm sure their choice is to perhaps try and jump in the car if it's raining. But we have found by doing the Leg It to Lapland challenge, especially in winter, that actually when you've got a challenge and children have something to focus on, then we generally have quite a good uptake of active travel. So not so much with a challenge behind it.
Great. And one final quick question. This is from Joe. This is for Liz. Will the council keep OpenStreetMap updated with the latest e-routes? Oh, I think you're on mute, Liz.
Hi, sorry, yes, I've unmuted myself. The pop-up measures or the latest changes to the e-routes are temporary in nature. We are working on an update in terms of what we're going to provide to the public. So we're working on some new web pages that we can provide with up-to-date maps. In terms of the, what was the question? Street?
Open street
maps. I will pass it on. Actually, I need to double check that one, which how we do that, whether that happens automatically or whether, yeah, I'll find out. Okay.
Great, thanks, Liz. Sorry,
I just realised the question was saying, is it parents or children? I think it's probably the parents. You're quite right. Whoever's written that.